I just looked online and saw the upcoming movies for 2012. First movie I'm going to talk about for 2012 is the Amityville Horror: The Lost Tapes. And I liked the remake of the Amityville Horror, the one with Ryan Reynolds. I'm kind of surprised that they're trying to resurrect it, and I see that the theory of this movie is that we're going to find, tapes that recorded the events that happened in the original movie. And that could be interesting, but it's another one of those found footage movies, and I'm not sick of them just yet, because if it's done right, then those movies are really good. But some movies don't do them that well either, and it's hard to find that line. And I feel like now horror movies are just doing that type of style just because, I wonder if it's really gonna work. Mayday! Next movie I have here is Snow White and the Huntsman, and that is I guess a reimagining of the Snow White story, kind of similar to the reimagining of the Beauty and the Beast story with that movie Beastly, and kind of like the reimagining of Little Red Riding Hood with that movie Red Riding Hood. And both of those movies I didn't hate. They weren't that great, but they had things about them that I liked. If they're gonna redo or reimagine all of these movies, they have to be good, because we have our own visions of these characters, that if they're just gonna redo them and we don't like them, then what's the point of all these movies? So if they can take the Snow White character and make her cool, or make her, because I see the picture of Kristen Stewart, who's playing Snow White. I see her in her Snow White look, and she looks like this warrior fighter type, and I kind of think, a part of me thinks that's cool. It's like, wow, she's a fighter, and it's gonna be something cool. Then another part of me thinks, like, wow, but what, like, why even name it Snow White? Are they just doing that just to guarantee the money? But it's really not going to be anything like Snow White that we know. Huge. And I also want to talk about Kristen Stewart being Snow White. I like Kristen Stewart as an actress, I do, but she seems to play these roles, like, every once in a while she'll do like a really serious role, but her more successful commercial movies like Twilight, she plays the female character that is lost and that's shy, and that's very much like herself. Because whenever I see her in real life, well, on TV being interviewed or at award shows, she seems very awkward. She seems very like she doesn't like attention. She doesn't like people looking at her. Very, very awkward, and I feel like her characters are like that a lot. So I feel like she's just playing herself in most of these movies, and I want to see her do something different. And I think if Snow White is going to be a warrior or a fighter in this movie, then that's something different. And if it doesn't go right, then how many more chances is she going to get to play a different role? I like her, but I want to see her get out of that same spot, that comfort zone she has. Huge. Next movie is Scary Movie 5, which I like the first two Scary movies. 3 and 4, I'm actually gonna say that I enjoyed them, especially compared to the spoof movies that we've seen more recently, like Epic movie, Disaster movie, all those movies that have just been fucking horrible, movies I hated. So if Scary Movie can bring it back, I'm not asking for much. Just make me laugh, and I don't care that you're spoofing movies I like. I don't care that there's pretty much no plot, it's just whatever. But if I'm watching all this and I'm not laughing, then that's when I say fuck you, and that's why I think those other movies deserve a fuck you. And I might give this movie a chance, but I don't know. G.I. Joe 2. I gotta be honest, I'm really not looking forward to this movie at all. I saw the first G.I. Joe movie, and I thought it was nothing special. People told me it was good, and then I watched it, and then I'm like, really? You thought this piece of shit was good? Channing Tatum, horrible. He's so generic. He's lucky he looks the way he does, because he wouldn't be getting as many movie roles as he does. Horrible actor. And the movie was like 2.5 hours long. It was way too long. The plot was just all over the place. I feel like a 10-year-old wrote the script. The plot, it was that dumb, it was that dense, it was that annoying, not never kept me interested, never had me care on what was going on. The villains were horrible. I didn't care. I didn't care about the female character. I didn't care about Marlon Wayans, who was annoying. There was almost nothing that I liked about that movie at all. The Bourne Legacy. I'm somewhat interested, but without Matt Damon, why are they going to continue the Bourne movies without Matt Damon and without the Jason Bourne character? I mean, is he going to have a brother? Or if it's a new guy, then you know, the name Bourne has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? They should have just waited till Matt Damon, or until they had a good enough script to have Matt Damon come back and do a fourth one if they really wanted to do another one. Quite honestly, the 3 movies were good enough to leave it as is.
I'm on fire!
The Expendables 2. The first Expendables movie wasn't all that great. I mean, that was another movie that people were like, oh dude, you gotta see that, that's awesome. And then I eventually sat down and watched it, and I said to myself, alright, the action is decent, but this plot is retarded. I know Sylvester Stallone, directed it and wrote it or whatever, and you can tell because he really doesn't know how to write interesting characters. It's all generic. The only interesting character in that movie was Jason Statham, and that's he wasn't even the main character. So what does that tell you?
Fuck it, man.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 3D. This has nothing to do with the remakes that came out more recently. This is apparently a direct sequel to the 1974 movie, which I never saw. So I guess I have to watch that first movie first. But how are they going to make a sequel that's like 40 years later? You know what I mean? Like, is that really going to work? Like, why would they make a sequel to a movie that was remade? You know, that's like saying, alright, we know that the Friday the 13th movie, has been rebooted, remade, but we're going to do a sequel to Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, just because we feel like it. And it's just like, why? Why don't you just continue from the remake, or just don't make another fucking movie at all?
Okay.
Halloween 3D. There's not that much online as far as news about this movie is. They just say that they want to do a third one, but there's no script, there's no director, there's no writer. Rob Zombie's not coming back, and they don't know if they can get the other actors to come back. The actress that played Laurie Strode, or the Michael Myers. I mean, at the end of the second movie, didn't they all die anyways? Why do we need a third one? Bond 23. I would only look forward to this movie if they keep the same James Bond from the last 2 movies, Daniel Craig. I loved Casino Royale, and I loved Quantum of Solace. The Hobbit, which, I know that's probably a big hype movie as far as people who've seen Lord of the Rings, but I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I think this is a prequel, and I think the Hobbit's one of the creatures or characters in the movies. I probably shouldn't even have added this.
Exactly.
Rec 3, which looks like the third in the US, it's known as Quarantine, and they made 2 of those movies. But in Spain, they have their own, which they made first, called Rec. I've heard they're good movies, I've just never watched them, so maybe now with this third Rec movie, maybe I'll get around to seeing those first 2.
Just do it!
John Carter, which is like an action adventure type movie, which I saw the trailer for when I was in the theater. It's starring the actor who played Gambit in X-Men and Wolverine. So I think he's a good actor, so I think I would check that out. But I don't know if I'd go to the theater to see it, to be honest with you. It looked a lot like a sequel to Prince of Persia, but it wasn't, so. Madagascar 3, which is this animated movie. I guess it's the third one, but again, I've never seen any of them. I know Ben Stiller and a few other people do the voices.
That's huge.
Total Recall, which is a remake of the original movie with James Cameron starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've never seen the original Total Recall. I know, I feel like I'm a slacker when it comes to these original movies. But you know what, maybe it will compel me to see the first one.
No.
Wrath of the Titans, which is a sequel to Clash of the Titans. And I didn't really care for Clash of the Titans. I didn't think it was all that great. Sam Worthington and Liam Neeson, they're all coming back. So, I mean, maybe I would rent it, but I doubt I would go to the theater, especially because, the effects I didn't think was all that great. I think the movie was way too long. It was over 2 hours. I just didn't feel a need for them to even make a sequel to it. And last but not least, Battleship, which I saw the trailer for. And Battleship is based on the board game. They're completely making this up as far as, the alien invasion that's going on in it.
Fuck that shit.
How many different ways can aliens invade Earth, They all just kind of seem like the same movie. So, I think I'm getting a little sick of the alien invasion movies, to be honest with you. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the 2012 movies coming out. So, thanks for watching, guys. Later.